What's happening, YouTube? So it's been a minute since I made a video, so I thought I'd just maybe post this one, or maybe I'll just add this to a stream of videos or something. I'm not sure what I want to do with this yet, but so anyway, last you saw me, we got the rear end in. I was doing some testing, so I kind of quit working on the car for a while because something bad happened and I didn't want to look at it or touch it for a little while because I was just so angry. Spent all that money on the rear end. I was out tuning one day, and then I took it to the local little Mexico spot and made some good hits. I was coming home, got about 3/4 of the way home, and the engine started knocking, and it just got worse and worse and worse and worse. I have pretty much concluded that, without tearing it down, obviously, it was a bottom end knock. It was probably going to be a spun rod bearing or crank bearing or something. So that's exciting. So you could understand why I just kind of gave up for a little while. I wasn't really too happy. Just spent all that money getting the rear end in, and then that happens. So anyway, we're over it. I'm ready to start tearing into this thing, and I got a lot of big plans for this summer since, you know, obviously everybody's kind of dealing with the same crap right now, all this COVID shit. So I got a lot of extra time on my hands. Still working, still doing that stuff, but yeah, so just, you know, saving money and not going out as much, and there's nowhere to go. And they have successfully shut down just about any car event around me, so no car shows to go to. I think I've gone to maybe one race this year already, but it doesn't sound like there's too many of those going on around here. So anyway, no time like the present to take advantage and go ahead and start doing some stuff to this that I've been wanting to do ever since I started building it. So I got a lot of really cool parts coming for this car. Got to save a little bit of money for a couple of things. I got parts that should ship next week. And what we're planning to do here with the motor is I'm going to get it out of here. We're going to tear it down, diagnose what happened, and then go from there. But either way, it's going to get rebuilt. Hopefully the block isn't hurt. We're going to get that checked out with a machinist. And then the plan is to build a high compression 383 for E85 fuel. My minimum horsepower number that I want to hit is 500. So I don't want this thing to be any less than 500 horse. So we're gonna be dropping some bucks in this thing. Full forged bottom end. Probably gonna be getting new heads. I'm thinking about buying some AFRs. Big roller cam. Yeah, so you can imagine that the price just continues to go up, but whatever, it's just some money. And if things keep going the way they are, you know, maybe there'll be some government money. I've already spent my government money, so we got parts coming. So yeah, anyway, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might just stream this in a whole series of videos of me tearing this thing down, so it might be like a month, because I am gonna be tearing the whole front end off, because I also discovered something else I did do wrong, and that was I got a couple body mounts in the wrong places. So I'm gonna take the front end off, probably undo brake lines. Really, there's not much to undo. There's a couple AFR gauge sensors and brake lines and fuel lines. I think that's about it. And I'm gonna pick the body up a little bit and fix my body mounts that I screwed up. So hopefully that'll actually get things to line up a little better, and I won't be so worried about it. So yeah, so made a few mistakes on the way. You can't make mistakes without learning. So it's a learning curve for me. Building this thing, and you know, along the way I've discovered things that I did wrong and things I could have done better, and things that I didn't do that I should have done. So This being one of them. I should have just waited and built a motor, but oh well, hey, I gotta do that now. Now that I actually have money to put towards the engine instead of money to just dump at the whole entire car. So anyway, without rambling too much, I'll either include this into videos, or I will just upload this one as like a little sneak peek and, you know, kind of what we're doing. So all right guys, later. All right guys, we're back. So I got the whole front end taken off so far. All the fender bolts besides the top one right up here are out. I'm just waiting for my buddy to get over here so we can take these fenders off. We'll take the hood off, and then we're gonna take the fenders off. I'm just gonna leave the fenders all assembled. Hopefully, I mean, that's the plan. Whether it works out that way or not, I don't know. I don't want to fuck anything up. So we'll have to see how that's going to work out. And thinking about it right now, it might not work out. I don't know. We'll find out. So we got all that going. The car's held up pretty well, you know, just from taking this stuff apart. I still need to fix my wiring for the turn signals. So I think I'm going to do that when I reassemble the car, and I'm going to clean up all the wiring. As you see, it's kind of a mess. I mean, it's all thrown in there looking like a mess right now, but it's really not that bad, but it could be cleaner. So I'm going to fix that. Like I was saying, the car's held up pretty well. I found a few fender bolts here and there that were a little loose. Maybe just because I didn't want to tighten them down too far, or maybe they've just been vibrating loose, because this thing does have solid motor mounts. And then my paint chip here from the header panel contacting too much. This is a guide pin for the header panel, so I might actually put a washer in here or something to space it out, so maybe it doesn't smash up against that so bad. That side seems to be fine, but this side not so much. So all right, I just wanted to throw this little quick mix in here, kind of as I go kind of thing. So I'll shoot another little shot once we get the whole front end disassembled. Peace. All right guys, there we go. Whole front end's taken off. The engine's ready to come out, minus a few small things here and there that I'll go ahead and pick over tomorrow. Yeah, it was pretty smooth. No issues. Everything came right off. Didn't really make that big of a mess, honestly. I have a nice little coolant sucker thing. It's just a fluid sucker, but I just stuck it in the radiator and pumped out all the antifreeze, so that was pretty easy. And then the bottom hose leaked some, but not a lot. That fluid sucker is probably the best thing I ever freaking bought, because even when you're just, you know, trying to pull the intake or something, you can just pull off the water neck and then stick it down there and just suck all the fluid out of the intake, and you're not going to make a mess. Especially like I just said, you know, you're pulling the radiator out, you just shove it down the radiator hole all the way to the bottom and just pump out all the fluid. Obviously the block's still got a crap load of coolant in it, but I really didn't make that big of a mess. The top hose was empty. By the time I pulled the bottom hose, it was just a little bit splash out. I mean, that's kind of a mixture of tranny fluid and antifreeze, but that's literally all the antifreeze I dropped out. Like maybe a little bit on, maybe a couple cups of fluid on the floor, but you know, nothing outstanding. So fairly easy. I think the biggest mess I made was with my transmission lines. Had to undo them suckers, and that was kind of a pain in the ass, but yeah, so everything's ready. Got the core support. It's completely assembled still. I didn't take anything off. My antifreeze is freaking disgusting though, so definitely going to be running a bunch of water through my radiator. I don't know why it's so nasty. I rinsed the block out before I put it all back together, so it must have just been some residual stuff in there that over time is just came out of it. So hopefully that's not an issue, but some of it's really brown. So for being fresh antifreeze, it's a little weird, but whatever. Yeah, anyway, I'll probably go ahead and just leave this in with pulling the engine apart too. So we'll just have one good video for you guys, and then, you know, show some other shit. All right, guys. Yo, what up, guys? All right, so here we are back. I went ahead and just skipped to the motor being out, just because, you know, you've seen 100 motors pulled. You didn't need to watch me do this shit or anything. Nothing exciting going on with that. So it went fairly easy. Just that driver's side header on these things is a pain in the ass. Kind of have to tilt the motor up to get it out. But other than that, it went fine. Yeah, so it's all tore down, as you can see, and I pulled the first bearing. And yeah, that is the crank. That is the crank. Here's the bearing to the crank side, and here's the back of it. Yeah, she not good. So I don't even think, I mean, it feels like old vinyl record right there. That crank is trash. So that sucks, but I wasn't planning on using it anyway. But my suspicions have been proved. So we spun a bearing. Obviously, after rotating this thing, it sounds like I got multiple bearings spun. It didn't sound like that when I tore it apart. So obviously, this thing has not been happy with me this entire time. So, and after further investigation of, you know, the cylinder walls and everything else, and even these cylinders, almost every cylinder looks different. So this thing has definitely been having a lot of compression issues. Has had a lot of blow by. Since day one it had blow by, so I mean, I never expected it to last really long, but I thought maybe it'll last longer than this. But so this motor, if you haven't followed me from the beginning, this was just already in the car. I knew it was 4-bolt main. I knew it was a used engine. It's been in the car. So besides that, I don't know much about it, besides he got it out of a motorhome. So I mean, it's probably seen a lot of hard miles. The cylinder walls looked okay when I had them apart. I mean, there was still cross hatching in all of them. You could still see the cross hatching. So and the pistons felt good. I mean, I didn't really have any issues with it at the time. So yeah, obviously the higher compression with the bigger cam and just beating the shit out of it definitely didn't treat it well. So that's all right though, no big deal. I'm gonna do what I want to do, and this sucker is gonna get built. So I might show another video, I might not, I don't know. You don't really need to see me tear this thing down. If it gets any more crazy than this, I might put it on here, but we'll see. So if this is the end of the video, then this is the end, and I will keep you updated on what my plans are, because I got good parts coming. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do to this, and then we're going to get to this. So all right guys, later.